To be serrated or not serrated? That is the question. Well, the folks at Schrade have come up with the answer to that with a couple of new knives for 2017. We're going to take a look at those coming up next right here on Survival on Purpose. Welcome back to Survival on Purpose. My name is Brian. Thanks for joining me. So the folks at Schrade were kind enough to send me a couple of new models they've got coming out for the 2017 year. And we got a SCA005DLB and a SCA004DLB. They're essentially a large and small version of the same knife. We're going to take a look at these down on the old stump top in a minute. But what's cool about these is they are either non-serrated or serrated. Best of both worlds in one knife. So let's, without me doing a whole bunch of more rambling, let me take you down to the old stump top and we'll talk about the specs and details of these things, and we'll get to doing some of that knife stuff. Okay, so here are the Schrade SCA004DLB and SCA005DLB double lock back clip point folder knives. Both these knives feature clip point blades of black 8CR13 MOV high carbon stainless steel. The SCA004DLB features 2.27 inch blades. For those of you still stuck in the old metric system, that's 5.77 centimeters. And the SCA005DLB features 2.88 inch blades or 7.32 centimeters. The closed or handle length of the SCA004DLB is 3.08 inches or 7.82 centimeters. And the SCA005DLB is 3.97 inches or 10.08 centimeters. The overall open length with both blades open of the SCA004DLB is 7.37 inches or 18.72 centimeters. The 005 version is 9.45 inches or 24 centimeters. The 004 version weighs 2 ounces or 54 grams, and the 005 version weighs 4 ounces or 113 grams. They both feature black dimpled rubber coated aluminum handles with double lockbacks, one for each of the blades. Each knife has one fully serrated blade and one fine-edged blade. All the blades feature ambidextrous thumb holes, and both knives have pocket clips. Tip up or tip down depending upon which blade you prefer. These again are new knives for 2017. The MSRP on the 004 is under $16, and the MSRP on the 005 version is just under 22 bucks. So I'm sure you'll be able to get them for a lot less than that on Amazon or some of the other big knife sites. Okay, so that's some of the specs and details and close-ups of the Schrade SCA004 and 005DLB double-bladed knives. And I know I said we're going to get to doing some of that knife stuff, but I've noticed that when I'm editing videos, that usually when I say that, it means I got a little more rambling to do. So I'm going to do that now and get that out of the way. So first of all, other than size, these knives are identical. This one's a lot smaller, as you can see. Not much bigger than a regular Bic lighter. Oh, almost dropped it. Caught it. Not much bigger than a regular Bic lighter. I think the fact that they have these little thumb holes does a really good job of letting you open them up really easy with either hand. The pocket clip is either tip up or tip down, depending upon which tip you're talking about. So if you're talking about the smooth edge, it's going to be tip down. Then if you're talking about the I'm sorry, my hand's a little cold here and I don't want to cut them. You're talking about the serrated edge, obviously it's going to be tip up. So I like the concept of having a completely serrated blade and a completely fine edge blade, because that way if you need serrations, you've got plenty of edge to do the work. If you want fine edge, you can do either one. So for an all-around general purpose knife, I kind of like that concept, to be honest with you. These scales are they're again kind of rubber coated aluminum, so they're strong, but yeah, they're very grippy and they just feel pretty good. They're not super soft, they don't have a lot of give to them, but they definitely have enough of a tread and pattern on them to give you pretty good traction. This thing is right size. You can definitely open it up really easy with your hand. Since it is a lock back design, it usually takes 2 hands to close it, but it also gives it a very positive lock, and I like that. I think that's all the rambling I need to do right now. Let me take you down the old stump top now and we'll get to doing some knife stuff. Okay, so here are the knives. For the sake of brevity, since they are essentially the exact same knife except for size, I'm just going to set the small one out of the way and we'll do the testing with the big one. The blades are the same, the steel's the same. I can tell you they're both really sharp. Let me just try this. I'll get my sleeve up just a little bit here. I'm sure. Oh yeah, it's sharp. So that's straight out of the box sharp too, which I think is pretty cool. So got a couple different things here I want to cut. Got some seatbelt material, got some braided bank line, and then I've got some paracord here. But I've also got a piece of plastic here. It was actually the seal on the Valley Food Storage emergency food kit. So it's pretty tough plastic here. Same stuff that 5-gallon buckets are made out of. So we'll try that too. So we're gonna try the smooth edge first. We'll try the paracord first. Then we'll try the seatbelt material here. I gotta get a good grip on it. Cut it very well. Try some of the this braided bank line, and again, this is Catahoula bank line. It's really good bank line. It's really strong. I just don't like the braided. It was a bad decision on my part to buy that, but cuts really good with the smooth edge. And then we'll try the smooth edge on this piece of plastic here, just to see how well it'll do this. I don't know if I can even get a hold of it enough to really do a good job, because this is tough stuff here. So it'll cut it, but you almost have to bear down on it and cut it, but it cuts it fine. It's just pretty tough stuff, and it's cold. So, okay, let's try the serrated edge. See if I can tell a noticeable difference. I don't know if I can or not. We'll try it and see. Get a hold of the seatbelt material, and great job on that. No problems. The cut a little bit of my paracord here. Okay, honestly, I think the fine edge did better on the paracord because it kind of grabs in those serrations and almost wants to hang up in there. And I was expecting that. I think these serrations would be really great for bigger rope and cord, but for small stuff, I generally prefer a fine edge. And then we'll try the braided bank line. Same thing there, sharp enough in there to cut, but it kind of does get hung up with the serrations. Let's try the serrations on the plastic and see if they make a difference. I don't know that they will, because this is just tough stuff. It's kind of like okay, well, it actually, I think maybe the sawing motion did help on that. It's hard to say. They cut it and did a good job. One more thing that probably is a very common use for a knife is some cardboard, and the serrations generally do a pretty good job of that. They just, they kind of cut their way through, and we'll try the non-serrations on that. Great job also. So either one works, and they do a really good job. Okay, so that's kind of some of the everyday task. I know I say this in a lot of videos. This is not a bushcraft knife, not designed to be a bushcraft knife. It's probably not going to be really good for heavy cutting tasks, and here's why. Because that other blade is going to be kind of uncomfortable if you're really squeezing down on it, trying to do some really heavy work with it. There's no doubt about that, because it is. But from a everyday use standpoint, it can be very helpful to have an option of having a serrated blade or not. I think that kind of does help a lot. But let's see how it works on doing some more traditional stuff. And really, I'm just looking for an excuse to try to build a little fire here, because I like fire, right? So first of all, I'm going to get a little bit crazy. I've got a piece of dead poplar here, and we're gonna do something that's probably not recommended, and we're going to do a little bit of batoning with a folding knife, just because I feel a little silly today. And it is a very solid lock up here with this lock back knife, and I'm trying to get down to something I can maybe do some feathers on. So maybe this will work now. Let's see what we got. See if we can get some feathers now, because this is a seriously sharp blade. Oh yeah, look at that. Oh yeah. So here we go. Yeah, we got some nice little fine curls in this thing. I mean, it really does do a really good job of doing that, because it's got just a great edge on it. And again, I know it's not probably the primary function of this knife, but if it'll do it, I like to do it. And another thing I like to do, if it'll do it, I like to see if this thing will somehow strike a ferro rod. I've got the old Schrade prototype here they sent me. Before they were even ready for production, had the 3D printed handle on it that broke off. I've got the production model too. It's got a really solid handle, so don't feel bad about that. But let's just see what we got. This spine feels pretty sharp on this thing. We're going to see what we can do with it. Oh yeah, and this is I like the fact this is a locked blade. I lock back, so I'm not really concerned about it closing up on my hand. But if I was, just in case, we'll just go ahead and do that. You can put it right here like this and just go. It's a little easier to use with the blade out because you don't have this big thing in your way, but we're going to do it like this just for safety's sake. Oh, we had a flame going, but I knocked it loose, so you know what? Like Mike Rose says, safety third. First, you got to get the job done. And it works very well, as a matter of fact. Okay, so I'm going to call that a success on all fronts. Death once had a near Chuck Norris experience. Okay, that kind of wraps up some of the practical use testing for these two knives here, the SCA004DLB and SCA005DLB. Going to be new for 2017 from the folks at Schrade. But since we are fortunate enough here at Survival on Purpose Worldwide Headquarters to have an absolute state-of-the-art, cutting-edge knife testing facility, I do like to put these things through a little more technical testing when I can. And again, I typically don't do folding knives. I have a balance, orientation, and rotation device here that I test these knives on, and I typically don't do folding knives without some modification. But a modification assembly is kind of down for some upgrades right now. So we're going to go ahead and since I think these have a really solid lock on them, we're going to go ahead and put these in the standard balance, orientation, and rotational device and see what happens. How about a little serration? Okay, we're going to call these balanced, and once again, that's the Schrade SCA004DLB and SCA005DLB double bladed folding knives, and one edge is serrated and one edge is smooth. Pretty cool. Basically the same exact knife, just small and large. Again, these are 2017 editions, so they're not available right now very readily. I think they're on Schrade's website, but based on the manufacturer pricing, I think these are going to be very affordable choices if you're looking for just a good all-around option where you can have both a serrated blade and a smooth edge blade. Very lightweight, very compact, very strong, and pretty cool. One thing I did notice, you can take this one here and open up both blades, and you might make a pretty good weapon. Now, I know nothing about knife fighting, and the fact that I'm even suggesting this is probably a good indication of that. Anyway, I think these are pretty cool little knives here, and just an indication that Schrade is just constantly coming out with some cool stuff. So I'll stop rambling now. I hope this has been interesting. Once again, thanks to the folks at Schrade for sending me these so I can show them to you. And as always, thank you for watching Survival on Purpose. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for clicking that thumbs up, for sharing this video with all your friends. And thank you so very much for doing all your Amazon shopping through the Survival on Purpose links. I really appreciate your support. Once again, my name is Brian. You're watching Survival on Purpose. Remember, survival's not an accident. So be prepared. I'll see you next time. I like the man, that sun is in my eyeballs. Sorry. Get out of there. You don't belong in there. I ramble again. The testing we do here is purely for scientific purposes only. I cannot ever recommend actually throwing a perfectly good knife, but we may do a video very soon on proper balance testing. So stay tuned for that coming up.